So I will give you an overview on which framework UNESCO can provide to contribute to the global diversity agenda and also to the prevention of great apes disappearance and their habitat. So UNESCO, as you all know, is a key partner in the biodiversity for the biodiversity science. We are the UN Agency for Science, and also we are known to be the lead agency for most of education agenda worldwide, and we are very active in education for sustainable development. At UNESCO, we have also putting a great importance on the links between biological and cultural diversity. This is something that is very important, and some of the questions are questioning this. How can we link more biological and cultural diversity, and how we can use this link to protect great apes, but other species? So UNESCO recognized the importance of biological and cultural diversity, and that this diversity is very important for our health and well-being. And this is something that is totally relevant to the COVID pandemic we are experiencing now. And of course, UNESCO recognized that for any conservation issue or objective, you have to involve all the stakeholders. And you have to involve communities, and you have to involve scientific community and authorities. So for UNESCO and for the Man and the Biosphere program, conservation and development are the face of the same medal, and you cannot deal only with one of these. So at the global agenda, UNESCO is contributing by many means, by many ways. We are member of the Biodiversity Liaison Group, which is comprising of 8 conventions, and especially with the World Heritage Convention, the 1972 convention. We are member of the IPBS Secretariat. Of course, we are member of GRASP since 2002, and we are providing the Secretariat with, together with UNEP. And for the time being, we are actively involved in the post-2020 Biodiversity Global Framework. And we will, of course, participate to the IUCN Congress and to the UN Summit for Biodiversity. So we are a member of the UN GRASP, Great Apes Survival Partnership. The members, we have 23 range countries, but we have also non-range states as members of the GRASP. The Secretariat, as I said, is provided by UNESCO and UNEP. And we have also other intergovernmental organizations, conservation organizations, and we have even private sector members. The mandate of GRASP is very simple, very difficult, but very simple to understand it, is to ensure the long-term survival of chimpanzees, gorillas, bonobos, and orangutans, and their habitats in Africa and Asia. So this is our mandate. During the last GRASP Council in 2012, some priorities have been identified by the members. So 4 of them: habitat protection and enhancement, law enforcement and judiciary, conflict-sensitive conservation, and green economy. Some questions were related to law enforcement and judiciary, and indeed, there is a need to enforce that. And one other very important aspect of GRASP is to improve knowledge. We need to improve our knowledge on great apes, on their habitats, on the link between great apes and human being. So we provide some periodic reports. We are maintaining some database, and notably, we have a database on stolen apes, which is really interesting. And I encourage you to visit the UN GRASP website if you don't know it yet. So what is one, I would say, added value of UNESCO in the great apes issues, in conservation of their habitat. We at UNESCO, we have what we call international designated areas. And those international designated areas are Biosphere reserves that are approved under the Man and the Biosphere program, and the World Heritage Sites, which are approved by a committee under the 1972 World Heritage Convention. So these areas designated by UNESCO are home to great apes. And especially for the Biosphere reserves, they are organized in networks. And it is important when you want to really have an impact to gather the people in some common objective, common tools, common thinking. And it is exactly what we do in the World Network of Biosphere Reserve. We have a global action plan, which is then contextualized in the countries, but we are a network. And actually, we are a network of 71 sites in 124 countries. And the ideas which are covering home of great apes, we have currently 17 Biosphere reserve, 10 World Heritage sites, including 2 transboundary sites, and 6 mixed sites, meaning sites that are both Biosphere reserve and World Heritage. Our sites, both Biosphere reserve and World Heritage, are home to 6 out of the 7 species of great apes, meaning that we have sampled of the habitat of the great apes, most of them, but 1. And currently, we are also, of course, at UNESCO, supporting the countries to expand the habitats under these IDAs. So at the MAB program, we are currently supporting Cameroon and Nigeria to propose a transboundary Biosphere reserve in the habitat of the Cross River gorilla. And currently Nigeria has already submitted its proposal this year, and it will be looked at by the MAB ICC in 2020. This is a very interesting scheme that shows you in a light blue the range area of each categories of great apes, and in dark blue it's the area of the World Heritage Site, and in green it's the area of the Biosphere Reserve. And if you look at these 4 schemes, you see that the range of chimpanzees, the range of gorillas, the range of bonobos, and the range of orangutans needs to be more covered by those 2 types of international designated area. You see that more has to be done, and we have really to encourage countries to nominate and to propose more sites covering great apes habitats. But if you look at the scheme on the right down, you will see that we have a very interesting site which is covering actually 100% of one species of orangutan. And this site is Gunung Glaser Biosphere Reserve, which is, by the way, also a World Heritage Site. So it's a mixed site. So one of our sites is currently covering 100% of this subspecies of orangutan. So what are UNESCO actions to support great apes conservation? We have 3 big pillars. One is knowledge creation. The second one is education and training. And the third one is sustainable management of the habitats. You see that for the knowledge creation, we have, of course, identification of priority areas for conservation. We have to know where are great apes located, where are the habitats, and where they are the most threatened. Of course, we are working with the communities living in these Biosphere reserves, and we then mobilize traditional and indigenous knowledge and the know-how and practices to really ensure that for all decision making, you also involve the communities and the local people who are living the closest to the great apes. And also we are improving the mapping of the great apes habitats, and we use participatory methods that also involve local community. So for the knowledge creation, we are really valorizing indigenous and traditional knowledge. In terms of education and training, we are of course involved in environmental education, and we are also engaged in vocational training, and we are now very much working on providing knowledge, skills, and means for the community to shift to green economy activities, and we are very much involved in that currently. In terms of sustainable management of the habitat, I will talk of that later on, but Sabrina has already mentioned that we are working on establishing monitoring programs for great apes in Biosphere Reserve and World Heritage Sites. We are also promoting collaboration between member states through the transboundary sites, and between Cameroon and Nigeria, it's one example, but we are working on many sites. For sustainable management of habitats, it's extremely important to foster collaboration between scientists, between local communities, between decision makers, local communities, and especially through multidisciplinary projects. And also, of course, we support the creation of more Biosphere Reserve and World Heritage sites. I have highlighted 3 of these in red because the rest of my presentation will focus on this. In terms of establishment of monitoring programs, I want to inform you that last year in Cameroon, we had a training workshop for managers of Biosphere Reserve and World Heritage sites. And we were training them to use up-to-date modern technology, meaning camera traps, drones, and also all the application you can use with a mobile phone. So after this workshop, the news arises that when you do workshop like this on the use of modern technology, this modern technology should be made available for the people you have trained. So we have been able to purchase some drones, and with Sabrina and the National Museum for Natural History in Paris, we are now designing a monitoring program for Biosphere Reserve, and we are going to embark with 4 pilot sites to design a standard monitoring program for the Biosphere Reserve and the World Heritage sites using drones. And it's my pleasure to tell that during the training process, we are going to, of course, use the drones, and we are going to donate drones to each and every Biosphere Reserve and the World Heritage site, the mixed sites, which are home to great apes, really to provide the skills, the knowledge, but also the tools. To foster collaboration, this webinar is really meant—
Can you wrap up the presentation?
Yeah, it's only meant to share experience, and the sharing of experience is very important, and we hope that this webinar will be just the start of a number of webinars And today I have to say that I'm very happy to have here in the audience, but also in the panel, people working in Africa and in Asia, because I think we have to have more to strengthen collaboration between Africa and Asia on the issue of great apes. So now, Mrs. Chair, if you allow me, I will just go through tools, environmental education tools that are linked to the COVID-19. And I will ask Amandine to please put on the screen the posters. Together with the Sabrina team, we have designed some posters that are really that are addressing COVID-19, and that we want to make available for each and every people working in this area. So this material is in free access on our website, and you can use them as much as you want. It is really tools for all of you. So you see, it's very simple. It is done based on what Sebitoli project has done. So you have various kinds of posters. They are in French and in English. And this one, for instance, is the audience of this one is the general public. So it's explained how the virus can be transmitted, and of course the sign of the illness. And this is also, you can use it, and if you have in your community somebody or a doctor or someone who should be called upon, you can put on this poster the name of the doctor, so then people knows right away where they can get information and go. Next, please. This one is also for the general public, and there was one question in the audience asking how do you think we can now open the protected areas for visits and so on. And this is something that can be very useful, because again, we give the possible signs of disease for the human, how the transmission is, but you have also down there the behavior, the signs of disease for the apes. So they can cough, they can be weakened, and also if you are looking, if you look at a community of apes and some of them are missing, then it can be a sign. And if you have this, if you see this kind of disease, you can also call, and then here you can put a call number where they can really provide information. Next, please. Again, this is for the general public, and this is for the safety recommendations, the distance between people. And here we didn't put any figure because this distance it depends from the countries. And here also the various things to do: wash your hand, when you cough you put it in your arm, and so on. Next, please. So those one are specific, the audience of those one are managers of protected areas or people that are involved in conservation projects. And they show what are the safety recommendations when you are at the station. And can you go a little bit up, Amandine, please? A little bit again. No. Down. Voila, thank you. So one is when you are on the station, and one is when you are in the forest. And I think it's very useful to have it because sometimes we are not very aware that we, of course, between people there is a risk, but there is also a risk between people and the animals. And here, for instance, we put the distance of 20 meters. When you go in the forest and you go to make some observation, make sure that you are at least 20 meters from the animals. And of course, all the recommendation for your garbage